The beta for the Cycle Frontier has been out for a bit now, and I wanted to share my thoughts on it so far. The Cycle is essentially a more accessible Tarkov clone, and that's probably one of the best praises I can give this game. I like Tarkov, but I have no idea what I'm doing or where I'm going, so something like Tarkov that gives me the opportunity to play the game is great. For that reason, I'm going to be making a few comparisons to Tarkov, hopefully not so many that I end up saying it 3 times in 10 seconds. Anyway, let's get into my thoughts on the Cycle from start to finish. The tutorial does a good enough job at teaching the player how to play the game. My only complaint is that once you have to accept a quest, there should be a marker or something to indicate where the factions are. It could just be my brainworm, but I spent a good while running around before seeing one of the faction halls. Nothing that's going to ruin the game, but there's something. Graphics are good. It's clear Jaeger isn't going for realism, which I like. It means the file sizes and load times are shorter. Like the tutorial though, there's one small issue, which in this case is that the characters look like the survivors of the Tomato Town massacre. But to be honest, both of those issues are mostly me just nitpicking for runtime. Now I can talk about gameplay, where it matters. Like I said earlier, the Cycle feels a lot like a Tarkov clone for little people. For starters, they went for a much more modest approach to weapons. There's still a lot of weapons, but the differences are a lot more distinct than say an AKM and an AK-74. You can get basic guns in each category for cheap. Working for the 3 factions will unlock more guns, though I only got to the first 2 in each. Back to those starters though, I feel they're a bit unbalanced. The pistol dominates a little too hard, so much so it pretty much replaces the SMG if you can click fast enough. In a similar vein though, the assault rifle is in a weird spot. Its fire rate is really low for the damage, which makes me feel it's meant for a sort of long range engagement, but honestly by that point you're probably better off using the sniper rifle. So what am I getting at here? Make the pistol weaker to give the SMG some room. Maybe make it a more accurate, less damaging alternative. The only suggestion I can think of for the assault rifle is to make it shoot faster. It says it's meant to be a jack of all trades, but it comes off more as a master of none. And make the shotgun more accurate so it can hit people, I think. Shotguns are a weird thing in video games, so it might actually be a latent god killer already. Sniper's fine, just add the scope to the sprite so people don't think it has iron sights. Now for the field. A neat feature that separates the Cycle from Tarkov is that the game is persistent. Instead of everyone loading in at once, a new player can join at any point during the game. Which is good because it means there's a relatively consistent amount of players at any time, theoretically at least. As well as that, you're not waiting for other players to load in as well, solving my biggest complaint of waiting 7 minutes to get shot in 2. Looting is good. You're unlikely to go into an area and find nothing. Loot respawns after some time, so if someone's already came in, you can still find stuff there. And items have little tips on where to find them, making it easy to track stuff down if you need it for a quest or crafting. Speaking of, I like how quests are implemented. They're very basic, but they help motivate you to look for or try out certain things. The quarters also adds to this motivation. The quarters can be upgraded to give you things like more storage and safe container space. You'll definitely need those safe container upgrades. Like Tarkov's containers, these will keep loot if you die. However, you can only hold 5 standardized units of weight measurement, which isn't a lot. Like, you can hold 2 rocks in a Snickers bar. Though once you get the first upgrade, it's a lot better. Luckily there are backpacks that alleviate this. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Looting is fun, the contracts and upgrades make it more rewarding, but if you die you will lose a lot, which is slightly better than nothing, but maybe I just sound greedy. Extracting is a cool concept. Rather than leaving through a locked door, you have to call a ship to pick you up. It makes a lot of noise and takes its time getting there. It builds up just another bit of tension before finally getting you out. It's good. Now, this part will probably make me sound whiny, but the hub is laid out in a bit of a weird way. There are a lot of locked doors that might fix it when it leaves beta, but at the moment the distribution is all off. In one area you have 2 faction halls and the crafting bench, all nice and close. Then you go down away from this and you get the item shop, quarters and the launch bay. Then off in the distance there's the final faction hall. I know Jaeger want to make the place look lived in, but in its current form it's just too much walking for my zoomer brain to handle. On the topic of childish impatience, a way of quickly buying a loadout from the item shop would be nice so I don't have to click through so many menus or have to stock up on multiples of each item. And while we're in the inventory, a hotkey to equip things would be good. You can do it out in the field, but for some reason not in the hub. Anyway, the factions themselves are pretty good. You can accept one contract from each faction and the contracts all pertain to that faction's theme. Korolov are industrial, they want metals and minerals, the ICA are scientists, they want bug bits, and Orion are hippies that like flowers and quickscoping. Ranking up these factions gives access to new guns and missions for more rewarding contracts. They also have scripts which you'll need for the quarters, which doesn't change when you level it up. And that's it for the structured part of this script. I'm just going to rattle off some more complaints from here on. You get 2 extract points, but oftentimes they're either really close or one is behind another. Maybe have them opposite each other on the map so there's a triangle between them and where you spawn. The mineral scanner is useful for new players, but I found it easy to remember where clusters spawn. I don't have a fix for this. Every weapon that you find on the map is rusty. These have worse stats than their non-rusty counterparts. Maybe just have a chance of spawning a normal version, or maybe a small chance of a faction weapon spawning if it's in one of their zones. The insurance payout is really low. I'd recommend increasing both the cost and the payout, that way you'll get a better deal if you die, but you're also making more of a serious in-depth investment to do so. The voice chat's great.
Yo, chill. Oh, stop shooting, bro. What the fuck?
So is the enemy design. Having tough enemies that fall quickly to shots to weak spots makes precision more rewarding. And now for some bugs, because I found a few while playing. The most annoying was this picking up bug. Sometimes an item's UI will flash and it can't be picked up. It seems to be items dropped by players, but I'm not 100% sure on that. The sniper rifle has a funny animation bug where you hold it weirdly while walking forward. All other directions are unaffected. I had a one-off bug that removed all my gear when I loaded in, so I was stuck with just a knife in my fanny pack. My stuff did load back when I extracted, however. There was another one-off bug where my items failed to sell. I didn't get any of the money back and I didn't get those items back either. I don't know what caused either of these bugs. And lastly for the bugs, sometimes the press to call evac prompt will display instead of anything else. It can make it hard to tell what the ship's actually doing. Now obviously this is a beta, but one thing I do worry about is how Jaeger plan on handling their endgame. There is a third map that can't be accessed yet, so I hope that's going to be the sweat filter where you can get top level stuff. Maybe some better guns? I hope their cosmetic and battle pass model helps them bring in money so they can keep it going. I don't want to return to customs. And finally, I forgot to mention this before, but the worm would appreciate a sort inventory button. You already have categories for the filter buttons, maybe have it sort by that or something else. So that's it. The cycle has a lot of potential and I look forward to seeing where Jaeger take this. There's a few bugs and issues, but besides the weapon balance and the slippery hands bug, they aren't affecting the gameplay that much, so if you're able to fix these, then the game can only get better. Jaeger probably won't see this, so hopefully someone with clout or on the dev team has the same opinion as me so I can be vindicated when the game properly comes out. Oh, and Marshall doesn't match the portrait. Alright, bye.